We can imagine that each exorcist is put to the test during his ministry. Obviously, each one has his personal difficulties, but is there a trial that is common to all? I think that all exorcists have a personal trial, which then becomes a demonstration of faith toward the Lord. All must act with immense humility, saying to themselves, I am a good for nothing. This is the basic truth. I am a good for nothing. The one who acts is the Lord, the Holy Spirit. There was a great exorcist, Father Pellegrino Ernetti, who said, the important thing at the beginning is to invoke the Lord, Our Lady, and the Holy Spirit. Then, what counts are the prayers of command. All the rest is a waste of time. Father Ernetti gave a thrashing to the devil, but he also had consideration for himself. For example, he tried to avoid the spittle and the punches. He performed the exorcisms standing at the shoulder of the person he was exorcising. He always stood behind. In one of his books in which there are photographs, because at that time it was still permissible to photograph exorcisms, we see that he is always at the person's shoulder. What counts is great humility, great faith, and a readiness to accept the will of God however it is manifested, knowing that, above all, the exorcism has the function of bringing souls nearer to God and of increasing their faith and their charity. For example, if there is no forgiveness, there can never be any friendship or lasting bond. Forgiveness is also indispensable for marriages and for relationships between parents and children. If there is no forgiveness, nothing can last long. It is one of the foundations of charity. So one proceeds trusting in the Lord, knowing that one is a good for nothing. In my experience, sometimes I have not seen any fruits at the end of an exorcism. And then later, someone will say to me, you know, Father, after the exorcism, I was much better. This disturbance ceased. I always respond, thank the Lord. I have nothing to do with it. There are dramatic liberations that come with much shouting or with the expulsion of various objects. But these cases are rare. I have had only one, but I shall tell you how it ended up. For a time, I was exorcising a married woman. On the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, together with Father Giacobbe, another exorcist more on the ball than I, we exorcised her for 5.5 hours. She seemed truly liberated. There were tears, embraces, and leaps for joy. Dot. But some days afterward she was the same as before. Father Candido said, it is useless to do long exorcisms if it is not the moment established by the Lord. And indeed, at various times, it is the devil, when he is being interrogated under exorcism, who will announce the date of his exit. The problem is that he is a rascal. In the case just mentioned, he mocked and ridiculed me. He told me that he would go away on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, something that did not happen. So I asked him, why didn't you go away? He responded, but haven't they taught you that I am a liar? Haven't they said to you that I do not tell the truth? He took me for a fool. I felt truly mocked. It is true that the devil is a liar. At times, however, God forces him to tell the truth. I had an episode with a man, about 26 or 27, from a rural area. He was a dreadful case. He would levitate. So I had a friar, Brother Sebastian, plus 3 or 4 other very robust persons hold him down during the exorcisms. The demon always spoke in English, which I did not understand, but I had someone present who translated, and he immediately said, I am Lucifer. You must realize that, for the demon, to speak his name is a serious defeat. But he revealed it immediately. He said, I will go away on June 21st at 11 a.m. We began the exorcisms in February. We had various encounters, and then, during an appointment, after June 21st, I found this young man perfectly liberated. I asked him, at what time were you liberated? He responded, at precisely 11 a.m. Then I asked him, how were you aware of it? He responded, I was working in the fields alone, and I believe I let out a loud cry, but I'm not sure of it. For assurance, I exorcised him a few more times, because the liberations are often temporary. The demon goes away temporarily, hoping that the person will gradually distance himself from the church and give himself over to a life of sin so that he can then snatch him again. In this case, the second possession will be worse than the previous time. I fear temporary liberations. I also fear bogus liberations. At times, the demon pretends to go away, and I continue to exercise for a while. In general, I do not say a prayer of thanksgiving for the liberation until at least a year after the event. Father Candido always said to me, do not expect to see the demon go away at the end of the exorcism and have all the participants content. Don't expect it. He goes away only when the Lord establishes it. The Lord has his plans. It is he who acts. In this case, the demon communicated the date, and he repeated it, and he respected it, even though the person was not being exorcised at the time of the demon's exit.